It's like, you really think the Russians are going to keep doing the same old trick all the time? They're eventually going to learn and set up a trap.
Which, that's something that was happened during the Cold War, and that's like I said before, that's what I love about this writer that wrote this, is he puts that real world into it, you know?
Yeah.
He puts that, and it's like, because this is the Cold War right here, the arms race, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
But instead of the arms race, you got Superman. Superman is your nuclear deterrent, or is your nuke, right? More or less. And that's what they... But what, you don't think you think they're not going to send their nukes? Just because you have Superman? They send it, right?
Yeah, and they purposely aim it for the island because they know he's going to deflect it and it's going to go over the U.S. So they do that so they can actually do like a dirty bomb that takes out the power.
Takes out the power, and it also... they made it so it was perfectly designed to take out Superman, right?
Yeah.
That's what I felt like, at least. Which, this is something... I don't know how you feel about this scene. I need to know how you feel about this scene. Because it looks like it turns him into Skeletor, like Tales of the Crypt Superman. And it looks like he is near death, right? He is near death. I was confused about this when I read it.
I'm not too sure, like, trying to think of what kind of kryptonite it was. Because it's not red, but I'm not sure if it's green kryptonite or if they did blue with it.
Well, I'm not even sure if it's kryptonite as much as something that absorbs the sunlight and the energy from his body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, what I'm really asking is, what did you think about this scene where he
steals the sunlight from the plants?
From all the plant life. What did you think of that scene?
It really made me realize, wow, Superman really doesn't care about anything else anymore.
Well, it's interesting that because what I got from it is, first of all, I didn't know he had that power that he could absorb sunlight from plant life. So I was like, what the hell is that? When I was reading the book, because as I said, I after I saw the first part, I bought the book. I read the whole book, and I was like, okay, you know, to be honest, I kind of liked the movie better. You know what I mean? At least of part one.
Yeah.
I kind of like the movie, at least of part one. Of part two, I feel like they're on an even keel. You know, like each has its pros and cons. Its pros and cons. You know what I mean? But in that scene, I was like, when did he get that power? You know, like when I read it and when I saw the movie, I was like, I felt like they made a little more sense of it in the movie, but at the same time, it's really confusing in the book because I'm like, when did he get these powers? I also kind of thought maybe he's learned how to do this over time now that he's more experienced, he's older. Because as you can see, he doesn't look like he's aged, Superman.
No, he doesn't.
If he has, it's maybe like 5 years at most. Whereas everybody else is aged, what, 20 years at least?
Yeah.
Maybe more, you know?
I'm guessing more.
25 years then. Is that good enough for you, Ambassador?
25 or 30 even.
30 even?
Because Bruce is really old looking in this.
He's like, I thought he was like 55 or something in this, or 50. I don't know. But this part's cool because all hell breaks loose, the power goes out, and Batman goes, now this is our time.
Yeah.
This is our time to save the city. And
Batman, it's interesting. He kind of goes too far, but at the same time he doesn't.
Right. I've never seen him be this kind of leader either. You know, I've seen him be a leader with the Justice League. But he's never had an army at his command to take leadership of. You know what I mean?
And I love the horse. It's awesome seeing Batman ride a horse.
I don't know about you, but I think Peter Wellington did a phenomenal job as Bruce Wayne Batman. Because he's an old man, he doesn't give a damn about faking the voice. But he does it good, what he does.
Yeah.
At times it does get more intense or raspy and stuff, as he does get more intense. And I love those moments because I feel like Batman is kind of monotone most of the time, you know?
Yeah.
And then there's certain moments where he can't hold back and he gets really intense and gruff, you know what I mean? And I think, Wellington did a phenomenal job, you know, doing that, cashing in on those parts, you know?
I think that's what really won this whole movie over was the Batman voice.
Oh yeah.
So, like part 1 and part 2.
It was kind of
so
nonchalant,
perfect.
but it's the perfect theme for this story, for this Batman story.
I love this. Batman pretty much takes charge of the whole city.
I like how the mutants got out that were imprisoned, still imprisoned, and they don't know what's going on because they don't know what happened, right? There's the ones that didn't know what happened to their leader, so they're acting as if nothing happened. Yep. So now that everything's gone to hell, they're going, hey, this is our time to take over. Yeah. Not knowing that their time is actually over, pretty much. But it's cool how he uses the Sons of Batman to his aid,
Yeah.
As well as the, you know what, we're not using guns. You use your fists.
Yeah.
You fight like men fight, not like cowards, Which is kind of funny because Gordon has a gun, you know? But he doesn't use it, though.
He just uses it to get attention.
Right, exactly. And there's a theme here between this and Batman Year One because it's written by the same guy.
I love how he's using a lasso in this too, like a cowboy.
Like I said, there's a theme in Batman Year One. Because Batman Year One's written by the same thing. He says, I hate using the gun. I don't, but I practice with it in the case I need it. But it's the last thing I ever want to do, which makes me go, 1, he would be a great Jedi. Yeah. And 2, it's on the same page with this story, Yeah,
you finally see Gordon discharge his gun, and it's just pow to get their attention.
Exactly. It's not to shoot maniacs that are robbing or anything like that. It's awesome how he. And this part was not in the book, but you know what? I liked it, and I kind of wish it was in the book because it's uplifting.
And what's great is because honestly, without this, Gordon's kind of missing his moment.
Right, he really is. I mean, the other part where he goes back to Barbara, they have that part, but that's it. Where the building blows up and he thinks she's inside. Yeah. And then, you know what happens. Yeah. But like I said, to be honest, I kind of felt like he was more powerful in this. Yeah. In a sense, but like I said, completely different. They're different things, and they're more intense in different ways. You know what I mean? So you have to take that stuff into consideration. And
this is great. He gets the mutants and the normal citizens to join up.
Yeah.
And pretty much protect their own city.
You know what I think is hilarious is that they're called the mutants and they're bad and stuff. They all have visors like Cyclops. Yeah. They do. It's hilarious. I'm like, what are you trying to say about Marvel? About X-Men? About Cyclops? What are you trying to say? You know what I mean?
Well, they're not too far from the truth right now with Cyclops.
You're true. I mean, you're right. You are right. He's not a good guy.
He's not.
You don't really see the help in the book. You just see the depression, the despair, the destruction. You don't really see them coming together as a team, or not as a team, but as people, right? Yeah. People helping people on the streets. That's what it's all about. Yeah. Just like in that song by Queen and David Bowie. You know, people on the streets, people helping people. That's what it's all about. Under pressure, you gotta help people in the streets. Pretty much have nuclear winter, literally nuclear winter. I feel it seems like, right?
It's interesting. They're angry at Batman for taking control of the city, yet Gotham's the only city that's doing well in the nation right now.
And that was one of the greatest parts of the book, as well as this movie is when the new commissioner goes, you know what? He's helping the city. This is beyond us. Everything's gone to hell. Let him do what he does. Yeah. And we'll help him. And I go, that's an awesome moment. It's just like when Gordon said, you'll figure it out. He's bigger. He's bigger than you. He's part of something larger than yourself.
Yeah, I just don't get how Superman doesn't realize what Batman's doing for Gotham.
And this part's great too with Reagan going, you know what, you need to stop him. And he's like, well, he's not gonna let me just bring him in. He's like, do what you got to do.
Yep.
And I was like, whoa. And there's so many interpretations for that.
Yeah, and I love how you have Oliver Queen show up now.
I want to know how he lost his arm.
Something to do with Superman.
I know. I'm like, did he rip his arm off? What the hell happened? I want to see that story.
Yeah.
I really
do, because that just sounds messed up.
That's when everybody retired. Bruce retired. But obviously...
Bruce didn't want to at
He didn't want to.
Until Oliver Queen got messed up. Then he quit.
Right. And that's
so it's interesting
powerful.
that when Queen realizes what's going to happen, he shows up and goes to Bruce and says,
he's like, I'm going to get my revenge or whatever, sort of.
I want a piece of Superman,
Exactly. And it's cool as hell because Superman sends him a message, you know, of we got to meet up, and he uses his lasers to spell where in the snow.
And then Batman tells him where.
Yeah, he tells exactly where. I love how he's lifting the car with this suit that he has to show us how strong and powerful he is in this suit that he's created, you know?
So he's kind of...
Sort of. They don't show
he's
completely.
kind of close to Superman, but not exactly strength-wise.
Right. I kind of feel like they didn't really allude to this part, which with the pill very much. Did you get the pill right away?
Not right away.
Like, not when they first show it, but when in the fight with Superman, did you go, oh, I think I know what he's going to do?
Yeah.
Because when I read the book, I did not see it coming at all. To be honest, I didn't even know he took the pill. I didn't realize it. You know, I thought, hey, I'm a beaten up old man. I'm going to take an aspirin for my old bones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My old beaten bones.
You don't realize that the timer on there is because of the pill.
Yes.
Because of what he's going to do.
The biggest difference, the biggest difference, which is an honest complaint about these two differences, is the news coverage.
Yeah.
The news coverage was constant in the book. Like, hammering you constantly with the news. Kind of like news today, where it's always on. It's always on the Facebook. It's on the Twitter. It's always in your face. No matter what. If it's on the news, it's always in your face, no matter what. That's how it was in the book. And it comes to a pinnacle point with Batman's fight with Superman, because it's supposed to be like a blacked out area. But one news person finds their way on, and they get footage of the whole thing, you know, or not the whole thing, but of parts of it, of the most important and powerful parts, of course, right? And that was the biggest difference, is that constant barrage of news that fuels this story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really miss that element. I would be interesting to see how different this movie would be with that constant element, because it's in there.
Yeah.
But it's not constant. You know, it should be like flip to it constantly. You know what I mean? And it's not. And it's kind of unfortunate.
This part right here is great, even though I thought he was going to take Superman's powers at first.
Oh my gosh. What did you think of this part with Alfred? The whole part with Alfred.
This was just sad, because Alfred is one of my favorite Batman characters.
The part with Alfred, oh dude, I almost cried.
Oh,
I almost cried. He's having like a heart attack or a stroke. I'm not sure which, because it's only one side. Because it's his arm.
I think they say a stroke in the movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
But that's all caused because of what he's having to do. Right.
He's just the burden of... Because he destroys all evidence of Bruce Wayne being Batman, which that was more powerful in the book. There was a huge emphasis on that in the book. There was not that good of an emphasis on that in the movie.
The only thing
I really feel like they could have done that better.
Yeah, I caught it, but that was just because I was listening to the newscast in the movie.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, that's why the house blew up.
Right, but it was, like I said, heavy emphasis on that in the book. I had to fight the tears back hard when I read the book. And when I watched the movie, too. Even though I had already knew what was going to happen or what happens, while it was happening, I was like, no. You know, like, it's heart-wrenching, man. It's hard to see Alfred like that.
Yeah.
Alfred's got to be like 110 years old by now, right?
He's got to be some.
He's double the age of Batman. You know,
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne. I mean,
And then this fight's just
this fight is just awesome. This is the coolest fight. This is like if Batman had Superman's powers. This is what the fight would be like, right?
Yeah.
And it's sick.
Like no one when I told him at work, believe me when I said senior citizen Batman wonked on Superman.
He does whoop on him. He does. And it's crazy like how, you know what, I kind of, to be honest, I kind of feel like Clark held back though.
Yeah.
But
at the same time, I couldn't believe that line he says before he dies, like, now you're going to remember this day, the day I beat you.
yeah, he's like, he's I'm the only person, he's like, now you know, I'm the only person that could ever beat you. He's like, I held back too,
Yeah.
you know? He's like, I could have used some other kryptonite that would have ended you, you know, and you would be over permanently, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't say all that stuff, but you get all of that just in the few words that he says, right?
Yeah. Like
and it's intense.
He could have easily used whatchamacallit, the black kryptonite
And here's Oliver.
Yeah.
This part was awesome, which in the book it was a lot shorter.
I'm glad they gave him more time, just because.
Me too. I wish in the book there was more of Oliver.
I kind of wish they'd do a movie just about what happened to Oliver here.
Like that would be sick, man. I would love to see that story.
Just because even in this movie they do a good job of portraying Oliver as a cool character.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he hasn't always been portrayed as that, so shame on you, DC, for that.
Yeah. But I mean,
you guys are learning.
This fight is brutal. I mean, it's
just
not as brutal as the Joker one.
Yeah.
But it's awesome to see. I don't remember Oliver getting shot in the leg either, but even my wife was like, how is he going to shoot with one arm? And I was like, you know what? I don't know, but he's going to get it done. I'll tell you that right now. This is Oliver Queen, and he's going to get it done.
Yeah.
Because that's what he does.
Yeah.
And this is where he like really lets loose on him too.
Yeah.
I feel like this is where he totally beats the hell out of Superman. He hits him with the kryptonite and just lays it on his face. It was crazy. It was kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
That was a cheesy line, but it was funny, you know.
It was funny. It was cool.
Yeah,
I
mean because he said frickin', it was cooler. If it was just hi ho Silver, I would have been like, what is this? What is this? You know, like Golden Age comics, which that right there you could feel. I got it, like Clark being like, you're gonna die. You need to. He wants to help him, you know.
Yeah, you can see why Batman did all this, just to get to Superman to make him realize what he's been doing.
Exactly. That's another part of it too. Is he's not just showing him, hey, stay out of my way. He's saying,
this is what you've been doing.
This is what you've been doing. You're saying that it's okay for you to do this, but not me. You know, just because you're being commanded by the president. And you're doing things that are wrong, too.
At least I got a city running.
Right.
I still find that to be awesome that he...
So, my biggest problem with not just this movie, in fact, it's more with the original source material, is Bruce Wayne dies. But he doesn't stay dead because it's just a pill that stops his heart and then restarts it later, right?
Yeah.
And I honestly would have been. I feel like the story would have been better if he would have stayed dead.
Yeah, would have stayed dead and had Oliver Queen just
take over for him. Yes, with the new Robin.
Yeah.
You know, and the sons and the army of the sons of Batman.
Yeah.
You know, and kind of have Oliver as not a new Batman, but kind of, you know what I mean, like
as the
leader of the sons of Batman. Yeah. As the new leader.
Because obviously, especially with DC, like Green Arrow and Batman, they're very similar.
Yes. I honestly feel like it would be better, the story would have been better, it would have been more powerful if he actually died. If he actually would have had a heart attack, an actual heart attack, from the fight against Superman. To be like, you know what? I'm the only person that could ever have beaten you, and then he dies. You know what I mean? Like, and stays dead. Can you, like, I would have been like, holy mother effing crap, that is, because it would be the definitive death of Bruce Wayne, not Batman. Because I feel like we saw the death of Batman after the death, once Joker died. You saw the death of Batman. Even though he was wearing the suit, you already saw, because, I mean, Batman could have been wearing that mech suit the whole time, but he didn't. You know why? Because he was no longer Batman. He was Bruce Wayne in the suit, you know? But I like this extended part, too, because in the books, it doesn't go as deep as it does in this. You know?
Yeah, but I do have to admit, I did like it when Superman did the cheesy wink to Robin.
Right, because he hears the heartbeat of...
And he's like, don't worry. I know, but I'm not going to do anything.
Right. Not only that, I kind of feel like it's a... what happens in Superman Doomsday is similar to that. He dies, and he doesn't have a heartbeat for like 14 days, you know? And then slowly he comes back. Superman does from the dead, you know, because he has because he's Kryptonian, he's different, you know? So their hearts are different, you know? So he was actually alive when they buried him. He was actually alive, but they didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to be like, they could have taken this and put it into that, sort of. But in this movie, I kind of feel like that wink was, you took a page from my book. You know what I mean? Sort of. But, you know, and that was really cool to me. And like I said, I love this part because they set up his whole lab underground. They didn't do all that in the book.
Oh, they did?
They didn't. I mean, they show his army, and they show him, like, with the map, and goes, oh, I'm going to teach you everything I know. But that's pretty much it, as far as I recall. But what do you give it, Ambassador?
Give it a strong buy, and I think it's one of the best. Actually, as of now, it's the best DC animated movie I've seen.
Right here. Right here. Completely agree. This one is the...
And it tops anything from Marvel, too, which, that's coming from a Marvel fanboy here.
It is. This is the best animated movie I've seen. You know what? I almost want to say that it might be the best movie I've ever seen of DC's.
Yeah.
I won't say it's the best superhero movie, because I still think it's Avengers. But,
yeah, of course, Avengers.
Because Avengers hits every crowd. But as far as animated movies, this takes the cake. All-Star Superman is a very close second, though.
It's true, because All-Star Superman still is one of my favorite animated
that you still need to read, actually. I think you'll like the book better than the movie. Not because it's not as good, but just because it has more. But anyways, this, like, strongest possible buy of all the DC animated films. I absolutely loved this one. You know, it was brutal, and it wasn't like we have to show you everything that's brutal. Like, you didn't see all the people that Joker shot. You didn't see you didn't see the bullet go into the skull or through the skulls like you do in Judge Dredd or any of that stuff
or
like that.
Even when Batman goes to take on the police, you knew he took out more than it actually showed, but they didn't have to show it.
Right, they didn't show him, like, an x-ray of him snapping which they did do that in the book. Dude, you have to read the book. I'll have to let you borrow the book. It's, like I said, it's intense on its own. I don't know, I gotta say, though, I kind of like the movie better than the book. Just a tinge. Just a tinge. Just barely. But, you know, I actually, you know... I don't know, I'm kind of weird about it, but, you know, hope you guys enjoyed this, you know, with the triple threat, you know, and, I don't know, I feel weird, how do we end this, because it is comic book related, but it's also movies, so, let's go ahead and say, keep those eyes hungry for
comics,
and stay nerdy.
Yeah, stay nerdy, Planet Earth.